specialist, diabetes educator, health coach, and lifestyle medicine professional. She is the medical director and podiatrist at Family Foot Center. She is passionate about health promotion and preventing avoidable diabetic foot complications and amputation. Give a thumb up, give a thumbs up, and help me welcome our speaker, Dr. Monique Mitchell.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, let's get started. We've already had our welcome and our devotional, so we're going to move right along to our presentation. Thank you very much, Nurse Rami, for you doing an awesome job, and we really appreciate you stepping in and being able to do this for us. We also want to say a special thank you to Mrs. Sims, Kenisha, for awesome devotional. And I really, really appreciated that. I have to go back and watch that again. It was really good. I'm trying to advance my slides. I'm having a problem, but give me 1 second. I may have to stop and share again.
National Women's
All right, thank you. So nice to have a husband around the house. Appreciate you. All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about why women's feet are so special. We're going to look at, we put another twist on women's health awareness. So we're going to look at the feet specifically. And I thought the devotional was very good because it's talked about why women's feet are special. And so we're very happy to do that. I'm having the same problem. I can't see.
And let's just give Dr. Mitchell a minute. We're just so happy to have so many of you on our Zoom teaching for the night, ladies. We just thank you. We have 77 persons on. We're grateful for you spending time with us tonight. Because this is really good information and that we can share and really take good care of our feet. And please take notes. So if you don't have a pen and paper nearby, please take your notes.
All right, good evening again. I think we got it sorted out.
Great.
Awesome. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties every time there's something. So this evening, we're going to be talking about women's health and specifically about women's feet. So before we get into the feet, I wanted to share some information with you about women's health in general. And if this doesn't go, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, let me stop. Maybe I have to do it as a, without sharing, without the slideshow. I don't know. Because it keeps doing that. Every time we go into the slideshow, it stops. Okay, I don't know what the problem is. So it seems like every time I go into the slideshow, it doesn't advance. So
So ladies and gentlemen, as we wait on Dr. Mitchell, I will just like to be straight now, Dr. Mitchell.
I'm trying. I don't know.
Okay.
So continue. Go ahead. I'm gonna see as
Yeah.
soon as it goes up. Okay, it looks so.
Okay. So I was just about to advertise the Diabetic Association.
Go right ahead.
Go right ahead. Yeah, so Bahamas Diabetic Association is located at St. Gregory's Anglican Church on Carmichael Road. For those diabetics that don't know where we are, we provide support, education. Presently, we have a support group, diabetic support group that meets the second Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. And the third Tuesday is our teaching via Zoom. We also will be starting next month an evening support, an evening teaching on wellness, diabetes wellness in the evening, because presently we are wrapping up a morning session that we was having teaching every Tuesday at 10 a.m. So we almost finished that model. So a lot of persons say they're working. So we're going to start the second teaching sessions, going to be in the evening. So we'll advertise that. We're looking at Thursday evenings at 6:30. So go right ahead, Dr. Mitchell.
All right. Oh my goodness. I guess it didn't work in that time.
Oh, come on.
It stopped working.
Well, do your best.
All right, sweetie. I don't
Day one, it's high protein nutrition with real meat #1, supporting our healthy energy and strong muscles and a life she was born to live. Purina One True.
Okay, I'm gonna go fast because I don't know what it is, but let's get this done. All right, so our presentation tonight is women's health, and those are our agenda points. We want to just cover as much as we can and leave some time for you to have questions at the end. So we want to look at what women's health is first. Yes, this is not. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to use the arrow key instead of the mouse. Okay, so before we start talking about women's health, we want to just review what women's health is. So it's a branch of medicine that focuses on the treatment and diagnosis of diseases and conditions that affect women's health, their physical and emotional well-being. So we want to make sure that we're able to, as we talk about women's health, we know what we're actually talking about. So our first area, I want to say during this presentation, we have little nuggets of history and health about women in the Bahamas as well as worldwide. And so you can actually win a prize and pick it up from our office next week. So if you know the answer, we're gonna just have persons, I guess, raise their hands, and Lindiana will be the judge to see who answered first. So you're gonna see as we go through the presentations, there are little things in there. So I wanted to review a little bit about the health of the Bahamian women, or women in the Bahamas. So this is all data based on the STEP survey from 2019 from the Ministry of Health. So we know that the average BMI for Bahamians on the whole is 29.8. And so that brings us very, very close to well into overweight, but also very close to being obese. And so 25.8% of Bahamian women are overweight. Actually, more men are overweight, but more women are obese. And that means the BMI for overweight is 25 to 29, whereas to be obese, 54.8%. So more than half of us as Bahamian women are obese. That means our BMI is greater than 30. And for men, it's only 31.8% of our men who are obese. So only about a quarter of us eat no fruits or vegetables at all. So these are persons who do not include them in their diet. About a quarter of us do not do that. 4 out of 5 Bahamians eat less than 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. And that's 85% of us. 45% or 45.4% drink the recommended 8 glasses of water per day, which is good. So we need to commend persons for that. And then 23% of our waking hours, or the time that we are awake, actually 4 hours, it says, we are spent doing sedentary activities such as sitting on the computer or on our phones or stuff like that. So we need to be a little bit more active as well. Women spend about 40 minutes of daily physical activity, and that's on average. And for men, it's about 180 minutes per day. So 39, almost 40% of Bahamian women do not get sufficient physical activity, whereas men, that number is down, I think, to 20 or closer to 20. Can't see some of those slides. Okay, 73.9% of Bahamian women do not participate in any vigorous physical activity. And that is activity where when you walk or run or you're exercising that you're not able to talk at the same time, you're gasping a little bit, and that is considered vigorous activity. So most of us, almost 80%, 75% of us are not achieving that goal. So we know that almost 20% of our population is pre-diabetic and diabetic, with 6.8% persons are pre-diabetic and 11.8% of persons are diabetic. That brings us above 18%, so almost 20% of us are diabetic. But I found this statistic very interesting and very frightening, actually. 50.9% of female diabetics are not taking their medications as prescribed, not taking them either not at all or not as the doctor ordered them. And for men, it's 37.4%. Can you believe that? More men are taking their medication than women are taking their medication. So that was very interesting to find out. I don't know if you found that interesting, but I did. 36.7% of us, of women and well, people in the Bahamas have high blood pressure, and 4 out of 10 of us have high blood pressure and do not even know that they have it. So again, more women are not taking their blood pressure medication. At 63.6% of Bahamian women are not taking their blood pressure medication. About 50% of men are not taking it as either not at all or not as prescribed. 25% of us have high cholesterol and are on medication. And 32% of the women have never been screened for cervical cancer. And what test is that you use to screen for cervical cancer or cancer of the cervix? Can someone open their mic and tell me? Because that's this month as well.
Pap smear.
Pap smear.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. And interestingly enough, it's the women who are sexually active between 18 and 44 have the highest rate of women who are not having their pap smears done. So we need, ladies, we need to talk to our friends and we need to improve on this big time, because cervical cancer can be prevented. And one of the things that we need to do is have our pap smear to do that. So 56.5% of women are had not had a pap smear in the last year. So that's a high number. Less than 35% of the population, when we go to the doctor, do the doctor talk to you about your health and what you need to do about it? So less than 35% of persons receive that healthy lifestyle advice when they go to the doctor. But when they do, of those 34%, they most often would get advice on reducing the amount of fat and sugar in the diet, starting an exercise program, and then advice on losing weight, which is good because that is one of the areas that we need. So about 17% of Bahamians are, hold on one second, let me put this up higher so they can see. About 17.4% of Bahamians are current smokers, men 32% and women 3.6%. So women, 10 times more men smoke than women. So yoo-hoo, way to go, ladies. Keep that down. That's not a good habit, so very good job. So 7.7% of current smokers actually smoke more than at least 10 cigarettes in a day. So we see that that is a habit that we definitely don't want to encourage in our women. And even though we've seen a trend towards the younger women increasing that, but we don't want to do that. So alcohol use, about 49.6% of Bahamians are current drinkers. That means we drink alcohol regularly. Bahamian women between the ages of 18 to 44 tend to be high to intermediate level drinkers. What that means is that they would drink between 2 to 3 drinks in one sitting. But men tend to be more heavy episodic drinkers, which means that they drink more than 4 drinks at one time. And so about 42.6% of persons are doing that. And that is very dangerous because that can result in very dangerous results if you're having 4 drinks at one time, because you're going to be intoxicated, and a lot of bad results can come from that. Okay. So. Okay, so our first question, well, this one is not actually a question. Some of them have questions, some just have facts. So in 1897, sanitary napkins were produced or commercially produced by Johnson & Johnson. And that is the first time. So before that, they never had sanitary napkins for women or girls, never had those. And so they did not have them to use. So I thought that was interesting. I don't know about you, but I thought it was interesting, an interesting fact. So 1897, that's when that was developed. So we're going to go on now to our second objective, which is why are women's feet special? And Mrs. Sims did an awesome job of talking about how God made our feet special and for what purpose. So now we're going to look at the anatomical, the structure of the feet and the function of the feet, how they're different from men's feet and what difference they can do. So the difference, we know that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And so not only are the feet so, but the entire body. And so the difference between men's feet and women's feet actually start a little bit higher. So not only in the actual foot, but they can, from the hips, the pelvis, and the upper legs, that is where we see the difference beginning. So the pelvic region is wider, the legs are usually shorter, and there's increased angle from the femur. You know, the femur is the leg bone that comes from the hip, and then it comes down to the knee. And so we can see that those areas are usually had a wider angle. And if you look at a woman and you look at a man, generally from behind, you can see that a man is usually narrower in the hips and women are a little bit wider. Can anybody tell me why that is? Or why you think that is?
Childbirth.
Awesome,
Pelvis.
Liliana, keep that name.
The
Yes.
pelvis differently.
Yes, because we have to carry children. And so they have to open to be able to fit that baby in there and put it out. So definitely that's the reason why. So our hips tend to sway more as well. So there's more motion in the hips and the pelvic area when walking and running at any speed when compared to men. And you can see that as women, as we walk, especially if you're wearing a skirt, you could definitely see the motion going on in the butt. The gluteus maximus muscle and the buttocks are more active when walking or running in women more than men. So the knees are stabilized in women by the ligaments, and in men, they tend to be stabilized more by the muscles, because men tend to have bigger muscles, and so they are more stabilized. The Q angle is the angle that is measured between the thigh muscle and the bone in front of the knee, and that angle is generally not naturally higher in women due to the wider pelvis. And so we talked about why that is a minute ago, childbirth and everything. So increased Q angle can actually cause knee pain, which in turn can cause foot pain, because if it's out of balance, then you can actually have pain in those areas. The women's feet tend to be flattened or pronate and can easily increase, when that happens, it can easily increase the Q angle and cause excess stress on the knee. The muscles, bones, tendons, and ligaments of the lower extremity are all connected. I like to say it's in a chain. So when you look from the back, the hip, the hip, the knee, the ankle, the foot, they all work together and they must be in balance. And if they're not, then you will tend to have pain and you can have difficulties and deformities forming as well. So now we move down from the knee and the hip down to the foot and the ankle. So women's feet are generally smaller. We know that, you know, most of our husbands or sons even have much larger feet than women do, than most women do. Some women have big feet as well. I think the average size of a woman's feet is like 8.5. That's why when if you wear 8.5, you go to the shop late, you will not find that size. You probably find bigger or smaller sizes because more women tend to wear that size. Women take shorter, more narrow strides as they walk because of the size of the feet and the legs as well. Increased contact along the bottom of the foot in males, whereas women tend to walk more on the outer side of the foot. The ankle joint has a more increased range of motion in women with dorsiflexion. That's when you bring your foot up, or plantar flexion when you bring the foot down. So women tend to be more flexible in that area. And often we see that, of course, when we see dancers, ballet dancers or other dancers, you could see the range of motion is significantly more in those persons or in women, as we can be that evidence by them being able to do a lot of the things that they do. So greater joint mobility and ligaments are more flexible in women than in men. So this is good, but it can also be a bad thing or a challenge, because when you have more laxity or more motion in those areas, you are more prone to ankle sprains, twisting the ankle, and having foot injuries. And so that is one of the reasons why we see that often in women, especially when you couple that with high heels. When walking or running, there's more pronation, or the foot turns over or flattened the arches, and this can also cause pain in women as well, especially heel pain, tendinitis, bunions, hammer toes, calluses. All of these things are more common in the foot that pronates more. So we wanted to talk a little bit about high heels, and these are beautiful high heels, but we want to talk about how the impact they have on our feet and why we continue to wear them. So high heels were actually invented in the 1950s, and because of them, more women are vulnerable to certain foot problems than men, more vulnerable, and mainly from the years of wearing the high heel pointy mouth shoes that cramp the toes or the forefoot and actually increase pressures under the forefoot. And so that is what high heels tend to do. So high heels cause pain and deformities, and they can actually damage the feet if used over a long period. But a lot of persons continue to wear them, okay? So we can actually see, we'll talk a little bit about why that is. So why do we continue to wear high heels, even though we know that it can cause damage to the feet? Some physical negatives are associated with wearing high heels, such as the pain and discomfort you have. Most of us have worn high heels, women, and you can tell or you can remember that the pain under the front part of the foot, the burning in the toes, even sometimes in the arch, and based on the style of the shoe, you may have even more discomfort. But oftentimes the high heels are not practical. They're bad for the feet, the back, and even generally for the body because of how they're made. While stilettos, what they do is they force the calf muscles into a high, they cause them to be high, to be flexed for a long period. Then it tilts the pelvic forward, but backward, and it shifts the center of gravity forward. And so you're a little bit off balance because of wearing the high heels, especially the higher they are, the more this occurs. And then this also puts stress on the ball of the foot and on the back. So we definitely see that the high heels can cause us some stress, but why do we continue to wear them? There got to be some benefits. So if you look at these pictures on these ladies on the side here, you know, I looked for the pictures, and I was like, cute people in high heels. And you could see that they are feeling pretty good about themselves in these high heel shoes. And so they actually elongate the legs and give us height for many of us who may be height challenged, maybe a little bit short, the wearing the high heels tend to make us feel taller and more substantial. So we tend to wear them. And then this, I actually got this from, I typed it just like it is and say you get a sense of oomph, you get more confidence and lifts the hips, lifts everything and gives you that sense of style and confidence when you wear high heels. So there are also psychological positives. Persons tend to feel good about themselves. They feel like their appearance is improved because they wear the high heels. And so we can see that a lot persons continue to wear them, even though we know that they may not be the best footwear for us. So here are some tips that you can do but when wearing them, because a lot of persons choose to wear high heels. Me personally would prefer not to if I don't have to. So I tend to wear sneakers more and love it. But I do love when I'm dressed up and I wear my little heels. I do feel good about that as well. So if you want to continue wearing your heels, here are some tips that you can use. Wear heels in moderation. Wear them, especially the high heels. The higher you go, the more challenges you're going to have, or the more risk of accidents and injury you can have with twisting the ankle and all of that. So wear them in moderation. And then also alternate them. You can use sneakers in between your commute and then wear your high heels, at work or anything like that. And then alternate them, because when you wear high heels constantly, it actually shortens the Achilles tendon, and persons will have challenges with that later on in life. It's very common to see persons like persons who work in the bank or professional settings come in and having pain in the Achilles. If they retire or they change their footwear, they will tend to start having pain in that area because of that. Choose more comfortable heels, like a 2-inch heel or something that's lower. You don't have to be 4-inch or all the time, because that will tend to cause problems. Find heels or shoes that have a wider toe box. So if you look at these two shoes here, the purple one is very cute, yes, but the one on the bottom is a little bit lower heel and more sensible, because it has a nice arch as well, and it gives you a little lift, but is not as high and is not unstable because it has a thicker or more chunky heel, so it's more stable for you to wear. Wear something, and this was a good idea I found. It says you can resole the heel, or the heel part of your shoe. That means you just put an extra rubber. You can go to the shoemakers and they can put an extra rubber on there. That'll give you a little bit more extra cushioning as you walk. So especially like these little pointy heels like that, okay, and gives you a little bit more comfort. You can actually put it in the front as well, under the forefoot as well. So avoid certain styles. Very high stilettos can actually cause pain on the bottom of the foot. Like these shoes are perfect, but this description right here. Pointy toe and high. And so this will be the area here under the ball of the foot. The heel and the toes would be the areas where you would feel the pain. Okay, so first quiz with a prize. So Lindiana, Ms. Raming, be paying attention so you can get the name of the person who answers this question first, so that we could make sure that we have their prize for them next week. So in America, the first female doctor was Dr. Elizabeth Blackwell, and she actually qualified as a physician in 1849. So it brought it to my mind, and I wanted to know who was the first Bahamian medical doctor. If you know the answer, you can just raise your hand first, so Linda, Nurse Ramin can recognize you, and then you can give us your answer, please. Any takers?
Okay, I have someone said Dr. Dahl.
Regis?
Regis. Yes, that's Crystal.
Okay, it was before her. I thought so too. when I looked it up online, that's what it said. But I have a great authority. I called the source and to verify this one. It was not Dr. Dal Regis. She was right up there, but it was not her.
Ava Thompson.
It was not her either. We give it one more try. And this person is actually still alive. One more try.
We give up, man. We give up, Dr.
Okay,
Mitchell.
I'll give you the answer. She's Dr. Vernell Allen.
Allen, Dr. Vernell Allen is she.
CMO, the
Yes.
CMO, the CMO.
Yes, the first CMO. When I first came into health, she was the first CMO. So yes, I was like, wow, yes, but I thought of Dal Regis myself. So she was the first Bahamian doctor. Okay, so we're gonna move on to some conditions that are common in the feet that we tend to see. And most times we see these conditions. We talked a little bit about the high heels, but we can also see these conditions because of tight shoes, ill-fitting shoes that rub on the feet and can actually cause these conditions as well. So high heels, it's of course the main culprit, but other shoe problems can also cause it. Like wearing shoes that are too flat can also cause pain as well in the feet. So foot deformities like hammer toes can be common as a result of these type of shoes. Overpronation, and this is where the flat shoes come in, where it allows the arches to flatten and elongate. This happens to the ball of the foot moves forward and back, rubbing inside the shoe or the sandal. And so this rubbing can actually cause calluses and pain. And some of the other conditions are, of course, bunions, corns and calluses, hammer toes, Martin's neuroma, and then of course, higher risk for twisting the ankle, runner's knee, stress fractures, as well are also commonly seen in women as a result of that. So here are some examples. I'm not going to cover all of them. Bunions, for example, are very common, and these are these big bumps here on the inner side of the foot by the big toe. Okay, so those are very common. There is a genetic component to them, but bunions definitely, high heel shoes or bad shoes can contribute to the development of these deformities. And bunions can affect the big toe as well as the metatarsal, and actually can affect the second and the other toes as well, because it changes the foot, the shape of the foot, and changes the alignment order, how the bones relate to each other, and can actually cause that. And it's can be very painful as well. And so one of the things persons can do for this is change the type of shoes that they're wearing, avoid the pointy mouth, high heel shoes, or very flat shoes, and then see how that helps. And then it may actually need surgery as a result, but persons will need to come in to get evaluated to get that checked out. So hammer toes, of course, are the bent. You see how the toes are bent here, and can actually show where you have other deformities, calluses as well on the toes can result from hammer toes. They can be unsightly. Sometimes persons have a lot of corns on their toes. They can be either lighter or darker. And that usually actually is one of the things that bring people in, as well as the pain that they tend to feel.
I'm also thinking
It's seen most often in the second to fifth toes. And then the hammer toes are more common in women, of course, because of us wearing high heels.
I got on the phone and he's like, Jules, what is your mom thinking? And I said, Erwin, I don't want to talk about this. I feel like, this is between you and my mom.
You can mute your mic, please.
You just need to pray for her soul. And I remember thinking it was a little odd.
Ms. Stewart, you can mute your mic. Thank you.
God hear you.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry. A lot of times we see corns and calluses can be seen in persons. A lot of times I was saying in professional women, those of us who wear high heels for work and for long years, sometimes 20, 30 years of wearing high heel shoes, you will tend to see these corns and calluses here on the top of the toes. And then sometimes even on the bottom of the foot, you can see them as well. So corns and calluses are just thickened areas of skin that develop on the feet. They are usually caused by friction between the shoe and the foot. And they can see the calluses form on the bottom. So this is the second picture. And then corns tend to be on the top of the toes, the top picture here and the bottom picture. And so we can see that those are very common, and they can also be very painful. Okay, so our next question is, this one has a prize on it. So first one, we didn't get an answer, but this one here, I feel like we're gonna get an answer today for this one. So this one is women in Bahamian history. Who, Nurse Raming, pay attention. Who was the first female Governor General of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and when did that occur?
Damn Ivy.
Okay, awesome. When was that?
Don't recall.
So anybody want to get the other part of that question?
Was that in the
2002.
Awesome, 2002. So both of
Okay.
those ladies will get a prize.
Yeah,
Yes, so
okay.
the first Governor General, Tim Ivy Dumont, and was 2002. Awesome. All right. So our women's health, as part of our presentation tonight, we looked at the state of the health of Bahamian women, and we want to also give some guidance or some information on how we can improve that. So eat a healthy diet. Of course, plant-based is preferred because it's been proven to prevent many of the chronic diseases that we are facing today, and also to reverse them as well. Stay active, 150 minutes of exercise a week at least, so that we can maintain a healthy heart and a healthy body. A healthy weight, try as best as you can to get to a healthy weight. You can use the BMI as a way to determine what your weight should be. Of course, speak to your healthcare professional so that they can assist you with that. And then rest and relaxation, making sure, because a lot of us are under stress, and especially in the with what's going on now and always, there's a lot of stress going on. So take the time to rest and relax. Follow your medication. We heard 50 to 60% of women are not taking their medication as prescribed, and we must find out why. And then avoid stress and depression. Try to get help as soon as possible. If you're having stress or you're feeling depressed, feeling under the weather for too long, then it's best to get some help. Stop smoking or drinking alcohol, because those are not good for your health. We saw that smoking, women are doing very good with that, but we can bring that down even lower. And then drinking, definitely need some help with that. And then, of course, get your regular checkup. Go to the doctor at least once per year to get your regular checkup. That's where you're going to get your preventive medicine checkup with your pap smear, your breast exams, your high blood pressure, diabetes. All of these things will be checked if you get your regular checkup. So now we're going to talk about how do we promote women's foot health. So the first thing is to admit to choose the right type of shoes. If you're going to be exercising, then use sneakers or, golf shoes or tennis shoes or things like that. That is going to fit the exercise that you're going to be doing. Avoid excessive high heels. That means either wearing them too much or wearing them too high. Moderation is the key, and alternate between lower and higher. Pick the shoes that provide comfort and support to the feet. Our feet take us places everywhere we go, and so we need to make sure take care of them as well. rest your feet and elevate them on a pillow if you need to at the end of the day or while during the day if you're able to. Try to give them put them up and rest them. Perform foot exercises, and it could be as simple as bringing the foot up, putting it down, bringing it up, putting it down, just to increase the blood flow to the feet and making sure that they're functioning. You can also massage the feet. One of the ways, just touch the foot and just pull the milk, kind of milk the foot and massage it, pressing it in different spots to help with the blood flow. Pamper your feet regularly. You can use it to either soak the feet, or you can massage them. You can lotion, moisturize them, put oils on them. Just taking care of your feet. They are working very hard for us, and we want to work hard taking care of them as well. So be physically active and maintain a healthy weight. Do what you can. If you can walk, that's the best exercise, is walking. So do that regularly and making sure, lift some weights, aerobics, whatever it is you can do, it is best to do it and do it regularly. It's better to do something a little bit every day than to do, just once in a while. So it's good to do that. So talk about adopting a healthy lifestyle. And most of these, I think we have covered. Mental health, stop smoking, wellness, mindfulness, weight control, motivation, exercise. So all of these things. And of course, getting medical care when you need it to making sure that we're a part of having a healthy lifestyle. Wearing comfortable shoes, specifically with a wide toe box. You want to have something, you can wear sneakers, or you can wear something like this that has a more rounded style than a pointy style. The moderate heel, 1 to 2 inches, is good to make sure that you're balancing the weight bearing on the foot. You're getting a little bit of lift, but you're also balancing that. You can also wear sandals that has good support, or sneakers that have good support and actually are comfortable on your feet. So wearing insoles, as supportive insoles, are also good to take some of the pressure off your feet, and they can fit in any mostly sneakers or loafers. And then we also have some that can actually fit in a dress shoe as well. Well, of course, I couldn't end without saying, see a podiatrist. So if you're having any foot challenges, and maybe the deformities we talked about before, corns and calluses, maybe pain, very common pain in the heel is a very common complaint, it may be time to see the podiatrist. What I recommend, or what we recommend, is to see the podiatrist at least once per year, especially those persons who are diabetic. And even if you're not diabetic, to see the podiatrist at least once per year. That's where you can have your feet checked. And if there's any potential problems, we can actually see them and actually kind of intervene early so that you don't have any major problems with your feet. So it's good to have good feet that will keep you going. So our last question with a prize is moment in Bahamian history, women in Bahamian history. Who is this lady and what exactly did she do?
Dame
Can
Doris
anybody?
Johnson.
They didn't see a hand. We need a hand.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
No.
It's Carolyn.
Yes.
So
Okay,
what did she
Carolyn.
do then? We will take that. But what did she do?
Well, she's the first speaker, eh? No? I can't
No.
remember.
She was
Woman
a
suffrage movement.
Oh,
Yeah. Member of
Okay.
Parliament.
There were plenty of them, but what did she do specifically?
She was the lady who read the speech in the court for as a plea for women to vote. She led
Okay.
that group.
Miss
Okay,
Willa
the
Mae
suffrage.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
She's
we're
the
looking
first
for,
speaker in the Senate.
three specific things that she did. She was the first woman to do what?
Speaker in the Senate.
no, she's the first
Okay,
woman to
that's
vote.
one.
She's the
That's
first
one.
woman to vote.
No, she wasn't the
No,
first.
That's
Ruby Ann
one.
Darling was
She
the
was
first
not the
one.
first woman to vote.
Yeah.
The
She was,
suffrage
somebody
movement. I
just
lead
said
the
it.
suffrage movement.
She didn't leave it, she joined it, and she
She didn't
presented
lead
the
it, she
case,
joined it.
and presented the case in the
Okay,
court.
Yeah.
so we had one answer that said she was the first woman who led the Senate. That's correct. She was the first woman to run. She didn't win, but she
Yes,
ran.
right, that's right, to run, yeah.
Yes, and there's one more thing she did.
Oh, I know that.
She was an educator.
She was an educator.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, plenty of them.
Yeah, but she's one of the old and the first. And she
Yes.
was a doctor,
Oh.
a PhD doctor.
Yes, she was. So hold on one second.
You have prize for a lot of
A couple of
Miss
people.
Scotland, Miss Stewart, Mr. Saturday. You have I write all your name down, dog. I have to find your prizes.
Yeah, I gotta have to find price for all of them. Eh?
Yes,
Because I want
ma'am.
my prize.
In a
Okay, all
trump,
right.
man.
So she was.
I
she
got
had
Mr.
3,
Saturday, I got Mr. Stewart.
and you didn't get Carolyn, who's the first
I
to call her
am
name.
Miss Nicola Bastian, and yes.
Miss Rami, how you gonna have 4 answers for one question? So let me tell you
No,
this last
no,
one.
they answered earlier.
All right. So she was the first woman to run for the legislature. She was the first woman to be appointed Senate to the Senate. And she was the first woman to be a minister in government. She was the
Ministry of
first
Education.
Okay.
Minister of Education, yes.
An educator. Yeah.
Yes. So that I thought that was important for us to remember. And so I thought that was very, very good. So we must remember our history, and especially our women, what they have done, our men as well, but our women, since it's Women's Month, we must remember what exactly they did for us. So that is the end of our presentation. I just
Make
wanted
sure
to
she have Carolyn's name on that list.
make sure I am taking the official
Carolyn?
list from Nurse Rami. Those persons can actually pass by our office on Friday next week. It's been actually a year since we opened our offices, and we're going to be having an open house. And so you can all pass and pick up your prizes on Friday the 18th at the office. And so we'll have something special for you. So I
Miss
want to
Carolyn, Miss Carolyn, what your last name is?
Dorset.
Okay. All right. So I just want to recap that this month is Women's Health Month. And so we looked at what the state of our women's health is in the Bahamas. We have some challenges, but we can definitely work through them. And then we also looked at how important our feet are and what we can do to help that. So we want to say thank you so much for coming, and we're able to answer any questions you may have at this time. I'm going to stop sharing. Go ahead, Nurse Rami.
That is Carolyn. Where's the office located?
Okay, I'm gonna put up the last slide that has all that information on it right here. So we're gonna do our question and answer. Nurse Rami, you see any questions in the chat?
No, only compliments. Great job, Dr. Mitchell. Someone asking for contact hours for tonight.
No, there are no contact
That's Sister
hours.
Margot Farrington.
This is a community service, so we don't have contact hours, and it targets not only health professionals, but lay persons as well. So there are no contact hours for this session or the night sessions. Now the daytime, yes. Okay, so we're located on 45 Daffodil Avenue on Independence Highway. Our phone numbers are here listed as well, 605-3668 or 341-3668, or our mobile number or WhatsApp number is 802-3668. I see that Dr. Horsley was here with us tonight.
Yes.
Missed him last month. So we're just gonna, if he's available, he can give us a shout out, because I know it's the women's night, but that's okay. We're glad that I saw a few men on earlier as well. So but we're very happy that you're here, Dr. Horsley. You're still here.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you.
Yeah, of all the ones I didn't want to miss would be all the beautiful Bahamian women on. So I see with all the participants you had this evening, it just
Yes.
gives me goosebumps. What they call chicken.
Yes, 82,
Yes.
82 persons.
Congratulations. And it was very good presentation. And it must be something with the culture, and maybe people are depressed as to why they eat so much, not just in the Bahamas, but of course in the US as well. And maybe the types of food. So I don't know too much about that stuff, but you're right. A whole food, plant-based diet, you cannot go wrong, and it sends the proper signals to your brain through your gut to do right, exercise, and stay healthy.
Awesome. All right. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Awesome.
All
I
right.
see Dr. Philippe is here. Dr. Philippe, give us a shout out tonight. Is she here? Okay, I see a question. Oh, that's Dr. Horsley. Say, why high heels? Yeah, people do feel sexy when they tend to feel more sexy when they wear the high heels.
It's part of
So
our culture, isn't it?
yes, and we a lot of women do it I mean, my husband always tell me women don't dress for men, they dress for women. But a lot of us dress to impress men as well. And so the high heels can actually do that as well. So
Good point.
yes.
It's to catch men and impress women. Who knows?
And it make you
That's
feel
it.
sexy too.
Yes,
A little pep in your step.
definitely.
That's right.
Definitely.
Yes,
Awesome. Thank you. I see somebody joining from Jamaica. I see
yeah.
the Family Islands. I saw Freeport. Miss Osadabe, nice to see you.
Yes, I
I'm
want to say a
always
special, special shout out to all the nurses. We have a lot of nurses on tonight. I want to thank you
Let
all
you
for,
forward the information. Once I
Yes.
get it in time. I have been following Dr. Mitchell. I have been following.
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm a nurse too. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Nurses Month.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much. I see person from Jamaica. I see Dr. Philippe, nice to see you. Heather Lacon, nice to see you. I don't know how much men was gonna show up, but I'm happy. I see quite a bit. So thank you all. Enjoyed the presentation. Nurse Raming, thank you so much. Excellent.
Yes, I want to thank, I see a lot of my former president of the ACW, Mrs. Rogers on, so the ACW sisters on. We have so much many nurses on. We have our Family Island nurses. We have Sister Lisa Hannah. I'm just happy Sister Raming those from SRC is in the house. DPH is in the house. I mean, so grateful to have all of you on. Ilutra nurses on the house.
Wow.
So, it's education. And as we as educators, you have to excuse me, this being Nurses Month, and as we celebrate, and as we are all educators, we must pass on the information to each and every one. So we must please take the nuggets, go on Dr. Mitchell's website and pass on that, you can always replay. It's on Facebook. You have to educate persons. You must support your feet. No tight shoes. Go up a size in your shoes. Make sure there's room. Remember, massaging feet, just loving it, just encouraging, drive between your toes, be in the socks and shoes all day working double shifts. We have to drive between our toes and inspect them because moisture, so just take time to love each other and love ourselves. This is also Mother's Day this weekend. So we as women, we must pamper ourselves as we are all role models in society, and we just have to continue to help each other. but we must help ourselves first. Take time out to relax, Doc say, get enough sleep, more vegetables in our diet. We must move, ladies, move. Yes.
Awesome. I see Mrs. Evans here. She said the pharmacist, and I see there's a video of a pharmacist working, I think. So she said, recognize the pharmacists who are here as well. So we have some pharmacists
Yes.
who are here visiting with us, and we're very happy. Mrs. Evans, nice to see you. And a lot of persons, thank you very much. Pandora, Green Slade, and the rest of those persons, thank you very much for attending. I don't see any more questions, but I know I just want to advertise, like I said before, our first anniversary is actually next week since we've been at our new location. And we're going to be celebrating a little bit by having an open house. Tomorrow we'll be on Guardian Talk. And then next week, Friday, we'll have an open house where persons can come and have a free diabetic exam. They can have their feet measured. We'll have giveaways. And we want all those persons who win their prizes tonight to come by on Friday next week, and we'll be able to honor that gift for you. And other persons, if you just want to pass, that would be fine as well. Awesome job, Nurse Ramming. We just want to say thank you to everyone who attended. And we're very happy that you're here. Our next presentation is, which date is that? June.
Well, June, however, the Diabetic Association's presentation is the third Tuesday. And
So that's next
this
Tuesday?
is also mental health. And we are focusing on the importance of mental health and your health. So yes, Diabetic Association, but we're also gonna cover NCDs, all these non-communicable diseases, and the importance of having the right mindset. So we're gonna have a psychiatrist from SRC, Dr. Lightburn is gonna be presenting. So please, I'm gonna send out the link. And as diabetic educators, and well, educators on the whole, you know, the diabetic diet, you can use that for every condition. Half a plate vegetables, huh? Quarter plate rice, whatever start you want, and your meat, drinking your water, exercising, relaxing, getting sufficient sleep, monitoring your blood glucose. It's in the blood. So we want to continue to encourage persons with diabetes, and 90% are type 2, so it's reversible, but every day we have to think before, we have to plan our meal, we have to think before we do anything. You have to have a plan. So I just want to thank each and every one of you all for taking time out to support our Zoom teaching. And like Dr. Mitchell says, she is a nurse, and once a nurse, always a nurse. And she just have to continue to just share knowledge, impart knowledge. So thank you, Family Island nurses. I see my niece from Eleuthera too. Nice Parker's on also. And we have nice Farrington and all those nurses from the islands and here in the Bahamas. And all our educators, our nice educators, we have well, so Saturday we have Miss Willamay start on, just thank you all ladies from the church and everywhere. We give you thanks. We thank God for you all and continue to do your best.
I want to say before we go, thank you to Miss, I keep calling Tanisha Nurse Sims. I think she did an awesome job with that devotional. And so we're gonna upload that to our website as well, so persons can listen to it again. Because I neglected to turn on the recording before that, so I'll just post it separately. Mr. Williams, that's you from Freeport. Nice to see you. So we're gonna say good night to everyone. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you next month. It's the 13th of June for our next presentation. And it's going to be something about wound healing, because we have a lot of persons with wounds and we want to be able to cover that as well. So thank you all so much. Dr. Huxley, always a pleasure.
Same here.
Take care. Looking forward to seeing you in July.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone. We're gonna close the
Good
meeting.
night. Thank you all.
Nice Francis Williams.
Hey, yes. Oh, that's you.
Yeah. Oh, Stephen is here too, but he's eating right now, but he was here.
Okay. All right. Good night.
Good night. Thank you all.
Good night, good night.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks for an amazing program.
Thank you all so much. Good night.
Good
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Indiana, awesome job. Thank you.
Good night.
Yes.